He's literally doing an Ethan Klein move here on the global stage as the leader of the most powerful nation on the planet. This is where we're at. Our president is a Facebook grandpa. Our president will look at memes and go, well, what do you have to say about this? This is start with the South African president coming to the White House. And it's like, it's one of those situations where you can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? What are you supposed to do? You have to go there. You have to talk to the guy, right? And you know he's going to be a dickhead in the process.
Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not?
So in the midst of this normal conversation, from what I understand, Donald Trump just comes in hot.
We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. So whatever we want to do, we can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament.
Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill, Yamaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, pa, 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 to kill, Yamaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer.
The man of D-Day in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Suri will not be touched.
Why is he showing these videos? Because he's a embarrassing little gremlin, dude. That's why. Because he's basically Ethan Klein. Like, he's literally doing an Ethan Klein move here on the global stage as the leader of the most powerful nation on the planet. This is where we're at. Our president is a Facebook grandpa. Our president will look at memes and go, well, what do you have to say about this? This is what he's showing the South African president, okay, who is from a totally separate party, for the record, a clip compilation of Malema. Malema is the leader of the EFF, a separate party in South Africa. Okay? This is a totally separate human being. A group of older men meet in Washington to gossip about me. No significant amount of intelligence evidence has been produced about white genocide. We will not agree to compromise on our political principles on land expropriation without compensation for political expediency. I assume no, they probably think this is brilliant. A lot of Americans also don't have the capacity to understand that this is a totally separate political party. They also don't understand that it is a constitutional right to do expropriation of land, and it never actually took place. It was one of the biggest criticisms of the ANC government in the aftermath of the dissolution of the apartheid in South Africa, and that the reason why the Boer in South Africa, the Afrikaners that are claiming that white genocide is happening, is because the ANC is moving in the direction of enforcing at least some of this constitutional right. Now, the constitutional right is land expropriation with market rate compensation. They're not just like going up to these dudes and being like, it's our land now. They're supposed to, this is again a constitutionally protected right. Land expropriation and reallocation of land, redistribution of land is literally in the South African Constitution. Okay, it's not just eminent domain. It's not just eminent domain. It's like this is the reparation structure that is supposed to exist because, lo and behold, this might shock you guys, 10% of the South African nation is white. They, however, own 90% of the land because that's what it was. It was a settler colony for the longest time. So, of course, there is supposed to be, 7%. Of course, there is supposed to be some reparations in this process. It was supposed to happen initially, immediately after the dissolution of the apartheid, and it never took place. And the enforcement at this point, I don't know what Ramaphosa thought to do in the situation. Like, have you thought to butter Trump up and hope he likes you enough? They brought him a golf book as a gift and also brought famous South African golfers law. Given that I think Ramaphosa did what he could, he didn't try to debate Trump, thank God. The reason why I'm mentioning all of this is because I need people to understand. I need people to understand the background here before you dive into a clip compilation of a person that Trump has identified as like doing white genocide. But the real reasons as to why they're claiming that there is a white genocide happening when there is no white genocide happening is because of the slow legal process that the ANC is pushing for at this point, for at least like the lightest of land expropriation that was, again, a constitutionally protected right for the black South African citizens. That's it. And the ANC, especially at this stage, is not even a competent is not a competent display of leadership that they're engaging in. One might even say, even after the apartheid's dissolution, there was still there was still a lot of problems with their lack of interest in land expropriation. So they're in this unique predicament where they're trying to they're just trying to manage the anger that people understandably have due to the horrible economic standards for black South Africans that has not changed all too significantly, in spite of having more civil liberties as opposed to in the apartheid structure where they had no civil liberties. Their economic circumstances have not actually changed at all. South Africa is an incredibly poor country, an incredibly a country where there's a tremendous amount of inequality still for black people. That's the situation ahead of us. That's the situation in front of us. This is precisely the reason why people are feeling some type of way about it. The other reason why they're claiming white genocide, there's a couple different reasons why they're claiming white genocide. Number one, obviously this is a major point for white nationalists, so Donald Trump is trying to offer them a little bone here to say like, no, I'm with you, okay? Give them a nod. Give them a nod that he is still with the white nationalists, that their like pet issues are something that matters to him. The other reason why he's doing this is because it is a political weapon he can wield against South Africa, which, of course, set up a court case in the International Criminal Justice Court against Israel doing a genocide. The ICJ has a genocide court case in front of them. ICJ is state versus state, okay? And the state that brought up the genocide charge against the state of Israel is South Africa. So, of course, this is a little bit of a know you situation from Donald Trump to be like, oh, good on you. Oh, look at you claiming that there's a genocide going on in Israel, which is the most moral nation on the planet, the best nation on the planet. How dare you do a genocide case against Israel while they're doing a genocide? That's not very cash money of you, my guy. You're doing a genocide, actually. Guess what? You're doing a white genocide. Someone asked him about the ICJ. Trump clearly had no clue. It doesn't matter. It's not Trump that's setting this stuff up. It's Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is the one who's setting this stuff up. Trump doesn't know his from his elbow. He is rapidly Brandonizing, okay? He is rapidly and alarmingly Brandonian day after day. It's the bald Himmler on his ass cheeks that's basically designing all of this.
What are you expecting on the ICJ case? Are you expecting South Africa to drop that? Is that what you're trying to do?
On which case?
The ICJ
The International
case is
Criminal Justice.
International Criminal Court.
I don't expect anything, to be honest. I really don't. I don't know. It's they've got a case. There's a lot of anger there, tremendous anger. I don't expect anything. We'll see what happens. We'll have a ruling, and who knows what the ruling is going to mean.
One good thing from this meeting is that the ICJ case seems to be off the table for negotiations, at least I hope. Regardless if Ramaphosa withdrew from the ICJ, it would be political suicide in South Africa. People here are overwhelmingly pro-Palestine. Yeah, of course. They have like pro-Hamas and pro-Hezbollah banners in South Africa. Like, at least what I've seen. I don't know. What is the ICJ? I don't know. Who cares? No, the ICC case is a separate case. The International Criminal Court is a separate court than the International Court of Justice. The International Court of Justice is state versus state. The International Criminal Court is a body that has prosecutors that can prosecute individuals for war crimes. The ICJ prosecutes states for war crimes and the crime of genocide. The International Criminal Court, on the other hand, prosecutes individuals for war crimes.
Yeah.
On that subject, what are you expecting on
There will be times, come on. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot, kill, Yamasa, kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer, brr, pa, pa, brr, pa. Shoot to kill, Yamasa, kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer, brr, pa.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, was not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, do you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal.
I can't take it.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now, this is very bad. These are the...
Being a guest in the Oval Office has become a chance for Trump to try to humiliate you in front of the world. I know. The problem is it's humiliating for Donald Trump. Of course, this is not something that, it's just like the Zelensky, right? Like what Donald Trump did to Zelensky was supposed to be humiliating for Zelensky, but it actually was humiliating for America because every other country and its citizens that look at that back and forth, that look at that conversation, they go, this is the most insane thing I've ever watched. What the is going on? The problem, on the other hand, is that for average Americans, they actually do think that this is a display of strength and dominance because they're stupid. We are a nation of stupids. Getting increasingly dumber by the day, increasingly more racist by the day. So if everyone is stupid, you might as well be stupid too. It doesn't fucking matter. And that's where we're at. Every homeschooled nation, law 6%, 76% literacy rate in this damn country, richest person on the planet, 76% literacy rate. Of course, this is the type of Donald Trump is doing, and it's actually making waves amongst the dumbest Americans. Every American has the brain capacity of an iPad kid. It's so crazy. 54% of adult Americans can't read above a 6th grade level. You don't need to be mean. What are you saying? I don't need to be mean. What am I supposed to do? Say that it's like perfectly normal for the goddamn president of the wealthiest nation on the planet to run a clip compy like he's a slop tuber? What are you, Ethan Klein? What is this? He did the exact same that Ethan Klein tried to pull on me, where he's like, well, what do you think about this other guy? This other guy said a lot of mean things. Nasty things. What do you have to say? He's like, well, he's not a part of my party. What do you want? This is no different than being like, defend the Sabra hummus tier list. Like, what the This is two leaders of two separate states sitting side by side in the White House. This is a moment of national shame, okay? A moment, if we were at least a little bit more intelligent, we would look to this collectively and go, this is perhaps the most insane thing that has happened so far, only we will most likely experience an even more insane thing tomorrow, given how things have happened so far. No shame. No shame for Americans whatsoever. We revel in our stupidity. We revel in our stupidity. We think it's a badge of honor. Nowadays, like the last generation of Republicans used vice signaling. They substituted vice as a virtue. They would be like, the meaner I get, the worse I get, the more I dunk on marginalized populations, the cooler it is. I'm going to be a for the sake of being a because people are going to read that as a positive. Was the last generation's conservative movement. Now it's also a badge of honor to be dumb and racist. Okay. Not only am I signaling vices, I'm also dumb. I'm signaling how stupid I am. And yeah, if people are just as stupid as the president is, or even stupider than the president is, they respond positively to this. They go, yeah, that's my president. He owned this guy. It's fantastic.
These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers. And those cars are lined up to...
You don't know why you're talking? Have some respect. The president of South Africa is actively committing a genocide. Why don't you stand up like that, what you did with Israel? Oh, wow. What an incredible genocide it's been for the white South Africans, that every white South African, Afrikaners, and everyone else basically laughs at these dumb fat piggies that we actually ship to the United States of America, where they're like, everyone in South Africa, white people, black people, are like, what the do you mean a genocide? Oh, I got a boo-boo in my finger. There's a genocide happening. You genocided my finger. What a spectacular display of genocide that's taking place, where the overwhelming majority of all victims of even the farm murders are still the black workers at the farms, the farmhands. It's a white genocide when black people are dying at alarmingly high rates. Incredible white genocide taking place here. Later on in the conference, they asked their white agricultural minister to speak, and he calls the genocide allegations completely insane. Yeah. It's so utterly ridiculous, dude. It is so ridiculous. It's so funny. You sound like an Israeli now. Wow, it's interesting how from the perspective of that chatter, he's listening to you now as we listen to the Israelis yap on TV. Yeah, except the difference is it's not real. The Israeli genocide of the Palestinians is real. The white genocide of Afrikaners is not real. So what do you want me to do? Lie Not a single human rights organization recognizes even a fraction. There is a lot of violence in South Africa. That is certainly true. The overwhelming majority of the victims of said violence at even disproportionate rates, regardless of the fact that only 7% of the South African population is white, is still black people, of course. This is like when you ask white people what genocide looks like, what white genocide looks like, they literally say, oh, we own 90% of the agricultural output in South Africa, despite making up 7% of the population. Wow, dude. Incredible. Wow. If only one day I could get genocided like that. You know what I mean? Or if you ask dumb in like the UK or in America, white genocide is when white people voluntarily have sex with non-white people. That's what white genocide is. The Great Replacement is literally white people getting out-meated and out-competed in the marketplace of dating by dudes with salsa hips, okay? That's what white genocide is for the average American white person, the white nationalist who's like, yeah, I can't compete with a Mexican dude who's way cooler than me. This must mean genocide is taking place, because that's what it is. They want to make miscegenation illegal, okay? They want to make race mixing illegal. This is the only way you can, ensure the purity of the white race. Nobody even asked the question, like, why the should there be a pure white race? Like, what are you talking about?
Up on a Sunday morning, each one of those white things you see is a cross. And there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who's killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses. Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. But okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa. That's where.
We need to find out.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Elon is literally mentioned in the wiki page for that monument. The Witcreus Monument, Place Morte Monument, is a monument complex alongside the N1 route between Mokopane and Polokwane, South Africa, conspicuously located on the slope of Easterberg, on private property of the Harms family. Since June 16, 2004, symbolic white painted metal crosses have been planted on the area. In 2004, farmers erected white crosses along N1 to raise awareness of the farm murders. Senral and the road authority, however, objected to this, so that the crosses had to be moved further up the ridge. 300 members of the community met. First crosses were planted on the farm, and then owner, Mr. Stefan van der Walt, Dr. Niels Rulofse, criminologist at the University of Limpopo, and his wife Rena were the initial organizers. There were initially 1,200 identical crosses, each weighing 7 kilograms. In 2010, there was a surge in interest of the monument, upon which the local Vow Festival company made arrangements with the new landowner. The number of crosses grew to 2,506. Place Morte means piss murder, by the way. Wait, really? One of them commemorates the well-known white supremacist and neo-Nazi Eugene Terre Blanche, who was murdered on his Vendersdorp farm by 2 of his employees after an altercation of over unpaid wages. No, Place means farm. Terra Blanche. Eugene is an all-time hog. Yeah. Dude, a lot of people have never encountered South African hogs, by the way. So they don't even know how insane. Like, dude. The Afrikaner hogs literally live in a different universe. They live in like a different century, okay? In their minds, they're not even just LARPing. They're like still trying to maintain. They're still trying to maintain the colonial extraction, like the direct old school colonial experience of Africa. It's not even in this universe at this point. Terra Blanche, he literally started the Afrikaner Nazi Party. They're Israeli coded? Yes, of course they're Israeli coded. They also had an apartheid. From the same time frame that Israel started its apartheid, South Africa also had an apartheid. It's just that it dissolved by the 90s. Whereas Israel continued and dramatically escalated in that same time frame when they noticed what was going on in South Africa and the failures of South Africa. They learned about the failures of South Africa and learned the wrong lessons, of course, which wasn't to instantly change what they were doing and offer citizenship and liberty to the Palestinians that they were oppressing. Instead, they went in the opposite direction. This is why I use the South African apartheid as an analog when describing the conditions in Israel, because it's one that, like, albeit did not actually offer the proper economic restoration that was necessary in the aftermath of the dissolution, but it's important to recognize that, like, at least the legal structure was eradicated. And you are watching dumb Americans who are terrified of reparations point to South Africa as a country where they are doing what they fantasized newly freed black people would do in the aftermath of the abolition of slavery. And on numerous other instances throughout American history where there have been civil rights struggles, like, this is precisely what the Americans think. They think, like, affirmative action is basically white genocide. The most racist Americans. So it's perhaps one of the most dangerous idiotic conspiracies to entertain. And Donald Trump, of course, is entertaining it.
You to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead. Go ahead, talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet.
That's my question now.
Let's go.
Thank you so much. President Trump, and a disaster from EMCA in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Look,
it doesn't seem real because it's not real. I don't know what he should do.
these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death.
This was in his notes. Like, I saw a report coming out of the office that it was like he he literally had a note sheet that just said death, death, death.
Horrible death. Death. I don't know. To pick anyone, white South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I mean, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently. And,
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is indeed true?
well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know, you are so bad. You're such a bad reporter. This is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can we get a response from President Ramaphosa?
Your reaction to those videos, Mr. President?
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land, they take your land, and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now, we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous, look, this is a story recent. These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are, and you know, the man that
we got the new 40 beheaded babies. This time, the Afrikaner edition.
you saw, the men that you saw, the people that you saw on that.
Yes, I think it's also a way to undermine and soften the term genocide in the media zeitgeist, taking its power away when used for Gaza, as people see it used for this show, while also being like, hey, don't get any ideas, African Americans. That certainly is a part of this as well. You're not wrong.
Well, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march. They had a dance.
I hate this so much. I hate it so much. It's like, it's stupidity. It's dangerous levels of stupidity paired up with dangerous levels of racism. And it's getting elevated to a position of prominence by the fucking president. It's so bad. We are so damn cooked, dude. This is what happens when you got a groiper president.
In your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
Well, let me clarify that.
Yeah,
let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No.
Just a maddening situation. Because, like, he's so cucked, he has to play nice. He has to play nice. Yeah, luckily Trump didn't make a bigger deal about the ICJ situation. Yeah, thank God he's so stupid he doesn't know what's going on there. That he's not bringing that up to be like, well, you know, you say that Israel's doing a genocide when it's not. It's just defending itself. But you're doing a genocide to the white farmers. Why? Why doesn't he just rip him a new one in front of the cameras? I don't know, because it's the United States of America we're talking about. Think about the unprecedented amount of power that they have on the global stage. If he wanted to, he could literally arrest this person and claim that he was arresting this person for the crime of genocide. Okay? Do you understand the amount of power that the American president has? They could literally arrest him on the spot and say, you're doing a genocide. I'm arresting you. What are you going to do about it? Once it was made clear that black people were possibly going to run South Africa, they had to dissolve their nuclear program, so they don't even have nukes to retaliate, so they have no power. So what are they supposed to do? Who's going to go back and say, hey, what are you doing? Think about what Israel has done so far. The only reason why they're able to do this is because they are backed by the United States of America. So if, like, there is nothing that the United States of America could do that any other country is going to turn around and complain about. The only thing that people could do is just like try to play ball to the best of their ability and hope that like this insanity passes by. That's it. BRICS? Yeah, BRICS. Totally, dude. You're right. South Africa India is going to tell America, hey, you can't arrest the South African leader. What are you talking about? The only thing that I hope people can draw out of this is that this is in some ways not different than the way he treated Zelensky. Okay, this is yet another obvious showcase that like there is no real democratic process. What America says goes, and when this guy is holding on to the reins, he's already dropping the pretext of democracy or the democratic process or diplomacy, and he's just showing you exactly how this power dynamic works. That's what's so frustrating about this, is that all of those people that turn around and say, well, Hasan, you say America bad, but like, look at all the beautiful liberalism that America is engaged in. This is it. This is what was going on behind closed doors anyway. And now Donald Trump has made it so that everyone can recognize exactly what this power dynamic looks like.
There is
nothing happens.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilizing.
The farmers are not black.
That's not true. It's actually the farmhands that are getting killed. He's also wrong about that too. When he says like the farmers are white, the farmers are white. No, the farm owners are white, and you're still wrong anyway. The farm workers are black. I wonder how that works. I wonder why it works that way. The farm owners are white. The farm workers are black. When farm murders are taking place, they're talking about the black people that are being killed in the farms. It's still overwhelmingly black people that are victims of all forms of economic violence, of all forms of structural violence and direct violence in South Africa. South Africa is a very imbalanced country, okay? There is a ton of wealth disparity in the country. It is still very much a de facto, even though it's not a legal structure of apartheid, there's still a not so legal de facto structure of apartheid when it comes to the economics of everyday black existence in South Africa, as opposed to the Afrikaners and white South Africans that live in Johannesburg.
I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black, and the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off, they died violently, and you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this. Why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force? Okay, the United States, not to me, to the United
He's still talking about the stupid plane, bro. White people are 8% of South Africa's population, but own 72% of the land. Black South Africans are 80% of the population, but only own 4%. But there's a genocide against white South Africans. So then you look more into it, and it turns out that there were a total of 50 white farmers killed last year, many of whom were killed by their family and friends. So white South African farmers are the safest group in the entire country, but there's a genocide against them.